Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. In today's video, I'm taking you to the Ultra League Holiday Cup, and we're taking a look at a team that is all offense all the time. Shadow Toucannon, Shadow Aurorus, Payback Galarian Moltres. This team has damage output for days, and just pulled off a 9-1 run. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Mitrov, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now, Mitrov's submission didn't quite fill the full 15 minutes, so at the end, I'm going to have some bonus battles also featuring Shadow Aurorus. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches. And in game number 1, we've got a very neutral start, leading Shadow Aurorus into the regular Aurorus. This mirror is so high risk, high reward. Do you go for the bait? Do you go for the nuke? And Mitrov's is going straight for the nuke. Charging up Meteor Beam, picks up the one-hit KO. Opponent tries to call the bait. In comes Skeleturge, and there's an immediate switch into Shadow Toucannon. Toucannon's gonna have to be shielding up these Torch Songs as Skeleturge ramps up its attack, but Skeleturge pivots out and sends in a shiny Galarian Moltres. Moltres gets absolutely shredded by a Beak Blast, opponent refusing to use their shields, and now they're in an incredible amount of trouble. They still no shield, they get KO'd. Back in comes the Skeleturge, and oh my goodness, beautiful Incinerate deferral, saving that Toucannon for later, and in comes Galarian Moltres. Opponent fires off the Torch Song, boosting up their damage more and more, but Galarian Moltres gets the farm down, and that's a Game 1 win. We move to the second match, Shadow Aurorus into Annihilate. That's not the lead this team is hoping to see. Save switch Galarian Moltres. Opponent responds with a Skeleturge. How weak are they to Galarian Moltres in the back that this is their best answer? If they're sending in a Skeleturge to get absolutely shredded by Sucker Punches, then it's very clear that they're double weak in the back to Aurorus. So they know they can't stay in with the Annihilate, because if the Annihilate gets too low, then Aurorus is going to sweep. Moltres chooses not to throw the fly, instead gonna force the opponent to throw energy, and now presumably look for massive farm with the Aurorus. In comes Aurorus. Powder Snow's obviously gonna be resisted, but they do still add up over time. The no shield from Aurorus, boosted Torch Song, devastating damage, the switch to Toucannon, and back in comes Annihilate. Unfortunately, that heavily boosted Incinerate did register on the Toucannon, and now Toucannon is in danger of being countered down. Annihilate doesn't even have to throw Ice Punch here. It can just boost itself up with the Rage Fist. Rage Fist is going to be shielded. Look at the counters go. Toucannon barely able to hang on and make the last second Drill Peck. Drill Peck will be taking the knockout, but there's just no HP on any of the Mons. In the back is Lapras. Can Toucannon get the Drill Peck? No, it cannot. The opponent has to try for the catch. They don't get it. And now it comes down to this. Lapras, one of the bulkiest Pokemon, but this is a Shadow Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam lands. Lapras hangs on. It's a fast move race, but Shadow Aurorus farms down Lapras and secures the win. Hopping into the next match, Shadow Aurorus into Shadow Toucannon, an incredibly good lead. Opponent is going to be save switching into Dusknoir, and unfortunately for Dusknoir, it's about to meet Shadow Toucannon. Toucannon puts up the shield, respecting Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch would be devastating damage, and getting that shield call right just puts Toucannon so far ahead in this matchup. Toucannon's Pecks have already done enough damage that Drill Peck will be able to take the knockout, and when the opponent brings back in their own Shadow Toucannon, they're just going to get shredded. They're going to take so much damage. The Drill Peck bait is successful. Going for Drill Peck number 2, opponent doesn't risk the CMP tie, and now they're kind of forced to double shield. But this is not where you want to be as Toucannon. Toucannon gets the farm down, exits with a ton of energy, but Aurorus is going to be resisting the Beak Blast. Beak Blast comes out, Aurorus hangs on, not by much. Aurorus plays to the CMP tie, and I think at this point you just let Aurorus go and take the shield advantage on Galarian Moltres. Aurorus did a really nice job of absorbing the energy there from the opponent. In the back, they have Credilli. Credilli unable to make the Rock Tomb before Galarian Moltres gets Payback. Payback lands, and getting that damage before a debuff gets applied is incredibly important. The shield comes up. Galarian Moltres probably just going to need a fly now. Going to try and get there on the CMP tie, and that is absolutely perfect. The Rock Tomb will never land. Fly takes the knockout. In comes Toucannon. That gets farmed down as well, and that's going to be a win. Oh my goodness, Annihilate Bleed returns in the next match. The save switch to Galarian Moltres. This opponent is going to respond with Zapdos. Zapdos firing off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck is survivable, but it's going to do a ton of damage to the Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres farming up, going for the Payback, hoping the opponent does not respect it. Payback does get shielded. That's not what you're hoping to see. Zapdos continuing to farm up, and they farm up too much, and that's going to cost them. As the fly is now reached, the Sucker Punches have done so much damage to the Shadow Zapdos that Zapdos is forced to shield. Zapdos has so much energy, no point in Moltres shielding. In comes Aurorus, and Aurorus is going to take big damage from a Shadow Thunderbolt. Zapdos lands the Thunderbolt, that's going to hurt, but it's all up to Toucannon. Opponent sends back in the Annihilate, Toucannon gets the Drill Peck. This is going to be game over for the Annihilate, and then it's 1-0 shield Toucannon. If they don't have a flying resist in the back, and they don't, that's instant game over. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. We've got some serious spice from the opponent in the next match, leading Shadow Aurorus into Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur farms up quite a bit of energy, the no shield from Aurorus. My German's not too good, I believe that was an Avalanche, and now the opponent is sending out Corviknight. Corviknight immediately under threat from that Shadow Meteor Beam, and now Corviknight's not going to have a great day as in comes Galarian Moltres. Galarian Moltres more than happy to absorb Air Cutters in this matchup. They do not get the boost. At having been the Corviknight in this matchup many times, it is just absolutely miserable. In the Great League, Corviknight, at the very least, Air Cutters slowly start to add up, but in the Ultra League, you just never feel like you're doing any kind of meaningful damage. Another no shield from Galarian Moltres, another Air Cutter, there's the switch, and it's going to be instantly answered with the Fly. Fly into Baxcalibur, does big damage, switch back to Aurorus, getting the Powder Snow down, and unfortunately that Baxcalibur, it was so close to another charge stack, but it cannot get there. In the back, they have a Dragon Breath, Shadow Charizard. The bait gets the shield, but even just a Weather Ball is going to do big damage from Aurorus. They're forced to fire off energy. Air Cutter takes the knockout. They do get the boost, but now there's a Shadow Toucannon with a shield advantage, and that's never a position you want to be in as the opponent. Toucannon fires off the Drill Peck. There's the combo play. Galarian Moltres saved the Fly from earlier. Fly into the Shadow Charizard. That's all she wrote, taking the knockout. Down goes Corviknight. Not only was that a win, that was a 2-shield flex as well. Hopping to the next match, and we see the worst case scenario for this team as Shadow Aurorus leads into Shadow Magnezone. Magnezone has super effective wild charges for the birds in the back and double super effective mirror shots for Aurorus. So this is an absolute nightmare. The shield comes up on the mirror shot gets the debuff, and things just going from bad to worse for Aurorus. Aurorus fires off the Weather Ball, the shield comes up from the Magnezone, and a very nice catch of what should be a mirror shot onto the Galarian Moltres. Even though this is the worst case scenario, still trying to fight back. Magnezone staying in this matchup, they're building up to the wild charge, and now Moltres has to decide. Shield comes up, they do not bait, and they're going to be sending in, oh my goodness, in comes Jellicent. Maybe there's actually a chance. Moltres firing off the payback, that connects, devastating damage. Moltres not going to be knocked out by the Surf. Surf is survivable here. Moltres able to hang on and get that Sucker Punch down. The opponent still has the Magnezone, but in the back, oh my goodness, they have Oranguru. Oranguru's confusions are double resisted by the dark typing on the Moltres. Moltres successfully baits, in comes Aurorus. Aurorus reaching for a Meteor Beam that unfortunately it's not going to get. Oranguru takes the knockout with the Trailblaze, ramping up its damage. As in comes Toucannon. Toucannon really not a fan of boosted damage. It is not built for bulk. Boosted Brutal Swing is survivable, and Toucannon is able to make the Drill Peck. Oranguru is very bulky in the Ultra League. Drill Peck will not take the knockout. The Pecks do not take the knockout as the opponent survives on 1 HP. But they should lose this game as everything is in 1 Sucker Punch range. They send in the Magnezone. The Sprite doesn't even load. Moltres farms down everything and takes the win. We move to the next match, leading Shadow Aurorus into Bellybolt. This is a tricky Pokemon because the backline can never ever see it. Opponent's going to safe switch out of the matchup into Skeleturge. Skeleturge answered with Galarian Moltres, and these Sucker Punches are absolutely criminal. Skeleturge going to do what it does best, ramp up with the Torch Song, but Galarian Moltres doesn't really mind that damage, and it can return fire with the Fly. Galarian Moltres gets the shield. Skeleturge, will it go for the Torch Song? No, it's committed to the farm down. Skeleturge gets the farm down. No, Galarian Moltres committed to farm, didn't throw the Fly, and losing that Fly could be catastrophic for the endgame. Because now the Skeleturge, it exits with 2 boosted moves, and that means that it's going to get the shield back. Whereas if the Fly was thrown, then the opponent wouldn't have any shields left, so there would still be a shield advantage for the Shadow Aurorus. Aurorus has to hope it's Bellybolt that's brought back in, and thank goodness it is. It's a Sucker Punch Bellybolt, which means with the new parabolic pacing, that this Bellybolt is going to be incredibly slow to get the charge stacks. Meteor Beam lands, devastating damage onto the Bellybolt. Aurorus' attack now boosted, Bellybolt boosting its defense in return. Bellybolt looks like it's getting farmed down here. Aurorus actually pivots out and saves the energy. In the back is Talonflame, and this game is over. They have to decide, do they want to get KO'd by Beak Blast, or do they want to get KO'd by Meteor Beam? Toucannon going for the Beak Blast here. Oh no, they went for the Drill Peck. Oh no, the Loose Con. Oh, that is tragic. The opponent can never shield there because of the loaded Meteor Beam. They no shield. The Drill Peck bait gets called, and unfortunately that game will end in defeat. We've got another mirror lead in the next match, Aurorus versus Aurorus. Last time the opponent no shielded and they got fully one-shot, so Mitroms is running it back. Meteor Beam takes the one-hit KO again, instant top left. Clearly these Aurorus players are tired of shielding Weather Balls, so they tried calling baits, and it is not working out. We move to the next match, and do my eyes deceive me? There is an Ultra League Morpeko answering the Shadow Toucannon save swap. Toucannon's Drill Peck, oh my goodness, devastating damage onto that Morpeko. I absolutely love the spice that I'm seeing in these sets. And this trainer mentioned that at the end of their 9-1 run, they ended up at 2667 elo. So they're playing at a very competitive elo. People are just having fun, running what they want to run in the Ultra Holiday Cup. And I think that is an absolute win. Toucannon, for getting answered with an electric type, put up a shockingly good fight, and now it's up to Shadow Aurorus to get a big energy head start. Aurorus looking for the farm down, but the opponent says no. They pivot out into Licky Licky, and is that a Shadow Ball catch onto Moltres? I really hope it is. Moltres absorbs that Shadow Ball, very nice catch, and now for the opponent, things are looking very, very dire. Their Skeletorge now realistically has nowhere it can go. The Moltres is up energy, the Shadow Aurorus banked a ton of energy. They are in a lot of trouble. Licky Licky returning fire here. It's a Hyper Beam surprise nuke taking the KO, but Shadow Aurorus, as long as it manages energy well, which it does, is still in prime position to sweep. Aurorus takes the knockout with a Weather Ball. Opponent has to bring back in the Skeletorge, and the Skeletorge is energy dry. Aurorus in 2 Powder Snows already has the Meteor Beam. Opponent knows their only win con is to try and call the bait. Down goes Skeletorge, and that's a good game. We move to the next match, leading Shadow Aurorus into, a Shadow Dusknoir. 2 better answers in the back, so in comes Toucannon, and Toucannon will swiftly be answered by Licky Licky. Going straight for the Beak Blast. This is neutral damage, but this will be devastating. Licky Licky gets absolutely rocked. Toucannon continues the farm, and Toucannon is actually able to make another Drill Peck. Drill Peck is going to force a shield that somehow ended up being a CMP tie there. I believe the opponent should have outpaced by a turn, but they were only throwing a body slam anyway, and they just resigned the match. They do not want the smoke from Toucannon. We've got 2 bonus battles to close out this video, still running Shadow Aurorus, but now paired with Oranguru and Togekiss. Great lead, Oranguru into Dusknoir. Opponent banks a charge attack, safe switches their own Aurorus, but this Oranguru has a loaded Trailblaze. Now they have to deal with a +1 Oranguru. These confusions starting to hurt, and Oranguru will fire off the Brutal Swing. Boosted Brutal Swing does pull a shield from the Aurorus. Aurorus does have enough energy for the Meteor Beam. It would not knock out, but it would inflict some serious damage, so the shield comes up. Oranguru continuing the farm. Opponent tries to go for the CMP tie, and that gives Oranguru an entire confusion for free. Boosted Weather Ball would do quite a bit of damage. Oranguru gets the farm down, and now exits absolutely loaded. In comes Dusknoir, Oranguru boosting itself yet again and getting the final shield. Oh, that is devastating for the opponent, as now this is going to be a +2 Brutal Swing. Dynamic Punch, that's just simply not going to cut it. Boosted Brutal Swing ×2. Big damage onto Dusknoir. In the back is Licky Licky. Licky Licky does not get the farm down. This Oranguru just cannot be removed from the field of play. The boosted Brutal Swing lands, and in comes Togekiss. Togekiss farming up, just trying to make it to the Aura Sphere. Opponent has the back-to-back Body Slams, but Body Slam just simply not going to cut it in the Ultra League. Togekiss more than happy to absorb this damage, make it to the Aura Sphere, even making sure to throw on good timing, 1 peck and the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere is going to land, down goes Licky Licky. Back in comes the Dusknoir. Ancient Power is reached by Togekiss. A little bit of tech in case it gets aligned onto Skeletorge. Ancient Power takes the KO and the boost as the game ends. Hopping to the final match, great lead Oranguru into Virizion. Opponent safe switches into Jellicent, and oh my goodness, the Oranguru disrespect. They're ABA to Oranguru, and Oranguru is looking to feast. Surf is going to connect. No shield comes out from the Oranguru. Very good charge attack timing. Timing in a 4 vs 3 scenario is usually very awkward as the 4 turn. The opponent ends up giving an entire free confusion, and that is just something you cannot do if you want to win games. Oranguru now going to boost itself up yet again with the Trailblaze. This boosted Trailblaze can Jellicent hang on. Jellicent double shields, and they make a catch onto Credilli. Credilli is going to be answered with the Aurorus, because this is going to be the best use of Aurorus in this game, because you know there's a Virizion. Virizion, double super effective double kicks and Sacred Swords, not something that Aurorus wants to deal with. Feather Ball lands, opponent will return fire with the Grass Knot, but this is an easy no shield for Aurorus. Well, they actually go for the Rock Tomb, so they get the debuff, but it does do less damage, and now they can look to bring back in the Jellicent. Jellicent was down 2 shields earlier in the match. They have some energy to show for it, but it's just simply not enough. Aurorus gets to boost itself up with the Meteor Beam, undoing that Rock Tomb debuff from earlier. And this poor Virizion, there was just nowhere for it to run. In comes Togekiss, opponent sees the writing on the wall, and concedes the match. All in all, Shadow Aurorus looks to be an incredibly fun and dynamic pick for the Ultra Holiday Cup meta. Being an Ice and Rock type, it is going to be a little bit feast or famine, as if you get aligned onto a counter user like Annihilate, you're getting farmed down pretty quickly. But the Ice Rock coverage is very strong offensively, as there's a lot of teams built around fire types, built around flyers, and Aurorus is very well positioned to take advantage. The one thing to be very careful of with Shadow Aurorus is energy management. With Shadow Aurorus, in a lot of scenarios, its good matchups can end up flipping to bad matchups if it's down energy. So it's a Pokemon where you do have to be very mindful of how much you're over farming, making sure you're trying to get as much energy as possible, because with good energy management, it can pull off some insane sweeps. For the original team, I think the pairing of Shadow Aurorus and Shadow Toucannon, it is a bit of a risky pairing having 2 Shadow Pokemon together, but their combined damage output is absolutely absurd and did a really nice job of really pressuring opponent's shield. Whereas opponents in a lot of games really struggled with going down shields early, or if they didn't end up going down shields early, then they just ended up getting farmed down and getting KO'd with both shields remaining. So I really feel like that amount of offensive pressure on a team probably leads to some very fun sets, and judging by the submitter, sounds like some pretty successful sets as well. Now for the second team, I do think that XL Oranguru is very, very slept on in this meta. It's a very bulky Pokemon. It can just take hits for days, and we saw in the LAIC Pokemon Championship Series meta how strong a Great League Oranguru can be. Well, it has way more bulk here. Obviously, it doesn't have the same damage output because its charge stacks just don't hit very hard in the Ultra League, but it can boost itself up with Trailblaze. Its typing is really not prepared for in a lot of teams, and it proves to be a really nice core pairing with Aurorus, as it's a normal type that actually beats the fighters, so it actually works out really nicely as a core pairing for the Aurorus. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And an extra special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. Thank you guys oh so very much, and until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.